Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversations with Shawna show. Today, I'm so excited. I can't wait to introduce this guest to you. But before I do that, for those of you who have not met me, my name is Shawna Roche, and I'm a transformational coach. And I work with my clients, and I help them through fear, doubt, and uncertainty into love, expansion, and possibilities. So, welcome again to the show. If you're here watching live, please say hi so we can say hi. Feel free to comment. And if you're coming in from my Powerhouse Women group, Women Empowering Women, just click the StreamYard link above, please, for your comments so we can see who you are and say hi. And for those of you on the replay, give us a hashtag replay so we can say hi later. And now I won't keep you waiting. Introduce you to the lovely Jen Kohler. Hi, Jen. Thank you for joining me.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to play today.
Oh, this is going to be so fun. And for those of you who haven't seen the topic, today's topic is healing our money stories as healers. And so I'll give you a little background about Jen. So Jen is a Reiki master teacher. Oof, I love it. A numerologist, a fellow numerologist. You know what? And we should talk about that. I'm my Reiki level 2.
Oh, nice.
But I just use it for me. I don't, yeah, exactly. So I haven't been using it as a practice. So I love it that you're an actual Reiki master teacher. That's exciting. Plus numerologist and a self-mastery coach. Like those three, oh, awesome. I can't wait to dive in. I just get excited when I read people with their intros. So Jen is also, she teaches healers how to tap into their intuition, how to claim their power, and recognize our oneness through understanding universal law of frequency and vibration, and then recognize that through their healing practice, they deserve to make a great living. I love that. She helps healers to heal their money stories, break their vows of poverty, and create more wealth. Welcome again, Jen. I love that because you know what? I've only in the healing world and for 2 years now. And that is where beautiful healers, they don't see their own worth.
It is so true.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about that, shifting the vibration and money stories, what brought you into this?
So I have been, I would say, just a natural healer for my whole life. I sort of always felt that within me. And as an adult, I went in 2003, I started a massage therapy practice and I became a doula. I became a massage therapist. I started learning Reiki. So I was just the quintessential poor poverty-stricken healer. Now, and I was lucky because I actually did have a business that I continued to have, a brick and mortar that I continued to have for all of those years. And I always just got by. I made it. I was sort of living like client to client, patient to patient, if you will. And I never made a lot of money. I created a lot of debt but I loved what I did. I knew that I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, but I had no clue how to make any money. I had no clue about my relationship with money. Now I can see it from the 2020 perspective. And I'm like, boy, I was not a very kind person to my money,
Yeah.
So fast forward many years, in 2016, I came online and I started working with different business coaches and I started really looking at my money story. And I recognized that I was so triggered 100% of the time. And I could barely even look at my bank account. I couldn't open up my bank account. When the phone would ding, I would be like, oh God, I bet I'm negative. It was like this self-fulfilling prophecy of constant negativity in my bank account, constant debt. And now I can see so many aspects of that. So I started working on my money story and I've spent years working on that story and recognizing that as a healer, that I had this vow of poverty that I had taken at some point, past life, sometime in this lifetime, probably I can pinpoint that even, where I said, I don't ever want to have this. I don't want to do this, I'm never going to have any money. I don't need to have any money. I'm just going to live on a commune and be a hippie for the rest of my life, you know? So me.
I love it.
So I started working on my money story. I started working with Joy Kingsborough. I started working with many different humans. Megan Alton helped me a lot with my wealth consciousness and my prosperity consciousness. And I just started like just taking it all apart and really just looking at my beliefs and my, the systems that I had in place. And I started recognizing that this was a global issue for healers.
Yeah.
That we feel that we are not worthy of making money.
Yes.
That we give away all of our services for free. That we're not, it's not, what's the word? That it's not compassionate to like make money. We're greedy. It really just all comes back to this idea of not feeling worth it. I mean, I think that's really a big aspect of it, you know? So now as a Reiki master teacher, I teach people to tap into their intuition. I teach people to tap into their stories, into their beliefs, but I teach people to be the healer now. I don't just do healing sessions anymore. I teach people to be the healer. And my focus is to help them to understand that they deserve to make an amazing living. And if they're not making an amazing living, then they're not living to their full potential, and they're not doing their best with their gifts, right? If we don't have the healers teaching and being out there doing the things that we need to be doing, we're not raising the vibration. We're not raising the consciousness of the planet, because we can't, because society that needs money, pure and simple, right?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love that you said that. Hello, Beth. Beth's here joining us. She said, hello, ladies, Shawna and Jen. You know what? There was just so much that you said that I was just like getting little bits here and there. I was just like, oh my God, yes, 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 yes. Because it's so true. And I mean, my background of 25 years in sales and marketing and corporate industry where it was all about the value added, and I could charge whatever kind of thing, and it was like I didn't have that mindset. So when I came into this world and started meeting all these beautiful souls, these healers and Reiki masters and you name it, whichever modality, and then hearing what they were charging, and then realizing that they were all kind of feeling that way, like that like you said, it was global, it was a world thing. And I'm like, but these are the people, like the souls that are going to raise a vibration and make the difference. So I think that is so beautiful that you work with healers, because it's so important that they see their self-worth.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Can you give us like just some examples here about like ways to like even shift the vibration and how you work with people?
Yeah. So it's funny because I think I've been doing the money work for a long time with my clients, but I didn't really recognize it or own it. So I've been claiming it. And I think that's a big piece of what you're talking about. It's like, how can you claim, how can that healer claim that they are so worthy, that they are capable, and that they can have the confidence to make that money. So I think a big part of it is actually like recognizing what your vows are. Where have you made vows in your life, in this lifetime or another lifetime, to be poor? Where have you created that pattern in your life? And when you start to look at it, we start to look at, the neural pathway of what, one thing leads to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. And so that's one of the things that I do with my healers. I just had a session with somebody today. She's one of my Reiki students, and she is in my co-op, and she's working towards becoming a Reiki master. And so we worked through a lot of her core wound of abandonment today, which is always, where are we betraying ourselves? Where are we abandoning ourselves? Where are we doing the things that we feel in our body? How are we doing it to ourselves? And how can we move down that neural pathway to clear it out of the body, right? So energetically, I hold space. I talk them through the process of how do we clear these beliefs, these limiting ideas from the body. And then how can we put new ideas in, right? So we tap in some new idea, not necessarily tapping, but tap into a new idea, right? Tap into a new belief, and replace that old thought with something different, right? With a new belief. And I think that is work that many healers do across the board. And I think that everyone does it in their own beautiful way. And I think it's just all about recognizing what we were thinking, finding that neural pathway, like I said, kind of walking down the pathway. Who's coming up for you? What work, clients, people, friends, family of origin, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Who's coming up for you, and how can we start to clear that out, forgive it, right? And find gratitude for it, and then release it and let it go. And I always have people either like release things out into the cosmos, I really amplify, or move it back down into the earth. Those are my two favorite methodologies.
I love it. I love it. Hi, Tara. Loves working with you. Hi, Tara. Thank you for joining us. Beth says, getting rid of limiting beliefs and replacing with positivity. Love that. Yeah. And I love what you said, because here's the thing too. When you're doing this work, especially when you go through the awareness of that, you have these money blocks, you have this low self-esteem, this low self-worth, that it's a process.
Yes.
And it can be, because just as you were talking about this, I was like, just thinking of certain things were popping in. It's going to take some sessions and some deep work and commitment, because stuff is going to come up that you might not even think is part of what's blocking you.
Totally.
Blocking you. And we had this conversation earlier, because I had something that obviously I put in my head, like, 30 years ago. I'll date myself, like 30 years ago, right? And it was like, it just hit me this morning, and I was like, oh wow, that is such a money block. But I didn't think of it, right? And look at the work I've done. So I think it's so powerful for like healers and anyone actually to really, start working with somebody and working through this in order to raise the vibration, for us all come together, and that abundance, to get the abundance flowing. And I love it how we were taught, like with the whole infinity thing, right? Like the abundance coming and going. And it's like, it's just giving, but receiving, and being able to open to receive, because that's the thing, is some people just aren't open to receiving it either.
It's so funny that you say that, because there's so many wonderful like little buzzwords that go around, right? And it's like open to receive. And for many years I would hear, be open to receive. And I'm like, how do I do that? What does that mean? And so that's actually a large part of my work that I have discovered that I do, is that I have over the years I like dive into those buzzwords, and I'm like, okay, I understand what it means to give all of the time, and I am a really good giver, but what does it mean to be open to receiving? Like, I'll be like, I'm standing here, I'm ready, I'm open, right? And it is some of that. It is some of that, like energetically, like literally being like, I am open for business. I am open to receive all of the goodness that life has to offer me, right? And some of it is that, and then some of it is like really understanding how to just be, instead of feeling like you got to be doing something all the time. This is something that I work with my healer clients on all of the time. I'm like, oh, do you feel like you have to be doing something 1,000,000% of the time? What does it mean to just be? I have no idea. What does it mean to just be? Like, sit outside and just sit there and actually don't do anything. Don't bring your tarot cards. Don't bring your journal. Don't bring your music. Don't do anything. Just allow yourself to be there. That is like what I feel like has helped me to open up to being a receiver, right? Tuning into the frequencies around me of nature, knowing that prosperity and abundance lives in nature, and is like, that's what opens me up, is being nature. That's what opens me up to being this beautiful receiver that I have. I'm a damn good receiver now.
Like, I've mastered receiving. I'm good.
I'm getting better and better and better.
Now I need to teach the world. I love that. And I love that you said that because being, it's like when I first heard that too, and all the buzzwords, I mean, really, I'm a newbie. I'm like this little kid still, like 2 years in, and just over 2 years in, and still, like you said, the lingo and everything, and the being is so, it's like okay, yeah, I was being today because for a little bit it was like, really, was I really being? Like, do I know how to do that? And part of my number and just my energy and my mind, it's just like wow, and it's like for me, I always do have like. I'm a 3 in numerology. So I always have multiple projects, multiple businesses. Like I always have lots going on. And it's interesting because a lot of people look at that and they're just like it freaks them out. But they're like, because it sounds like I'm busy all the time. I do have stuff going all the time, but I have somewhat also mastered the being too, because I really, even though I have all this stuff and I'm excited, honestly, like my mornings, like 2 hours every morning, I can just be.
Yes.
And the month of August, when it was so beautiful out, like the first 2 weeks, I literally just sat on on the grass with my dogs, felt the wind, felt the sun. I mean, I had more of a tan than I've ever had in my life. Like I literally just sat in nature and I was just like, just breathing. And I was like, wow, this is what being is. And I had so much insight and so much inspired action when I got really, really quiet. And that was hard for me because my mind's always going, to the point where I'd be up all night because I could never shut my mind down. But now I've really, really tapped into part helping with Ayurveda, learning new habits and like sleep habits and stuff. And so now I'm actually, the last week or so, I've actually been sleeping last night. And for me, like you're talking someone who's normally up till like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning. Last night I went to bed 10:30. I woke up at midnight just for a few minutes and I was like, okay, that's good. I fell back asleep and then I was up at 5 a.m. And my husband gets up at 5:30. I was up at 5 because one of the dogs jumped on me. And I woke up and then I was just laying there. And then my husband got up, Bernie, and he's in the shower. And I was just like, wow, I feel like amazing. And so I sat there, turned my little light on, and I read from 5:30 this morning till 7. I just dove into a beautiful book. And I was just like, this is what life is like. This is so amazing.
Right. Yes, that is what life is like. That is the beauty of life, right? I love that for you. Going to bed at 10:30. I'm a 10 o'clock to bed every night kind of a gal. So
well, you know what? I was like midnight, whatever. And so I've really been doing the practice of no, like it's like, because Bernie comes home at 6, he's coming home, well, between 5:30, a little bit earlier. So we're eating dinner earlier. And then it's like kitchen closed at like 6:30. So we're not eating anymore, having light suppers, no more heavy suppers. And then it's like by 8 o'clock, if we do watch TV, it'll be Netflix, it'll be like from 7 to 8. And then at 8 o'clock, just after 8, it's like we shut that down. We have a hot tub and then we hang out and just chat in the hot tub under the stars, the moon for a half an hour. And then it's like do a routine for bed, clean your face. And then we're in bed by 9 o'clock. And then we chat for a bit and read a book, or we just have that downtime. And then it's made such a huge difference.
Yeah, it's the state of busyness that we all like have a competition about, right? And it sounds like you've just completely extricated yourself from that. And that is beautiful. I want a hot tub. I need a hot tub. That is next on my list.
Oh my God. And the stars lately, and we can see Mars and the moon. It's magical. Like it's just so beautiful out there. And it's just like, now it's like, before we've had a hot tub for years, forever, as long as we've been together, like 20 years, 21 years. But I haven't really enjoyed it as much as I do now. Because now I look at it from a different, not like, okay, quick 10 minutes, okay, because it was just go, go, go. But now we have the craziest conversations now about like the solar systems and the galaxies. And Bernie is just like giddy as a man, like he's man giddy, because he's like, I can have conversations with you now with the universe. Whereas before I'd be like, huh, what? Galaxy, solar system, like whatever.
So beautiful, Shawna. I love that.
Yeah.
Yay. Beautiful.
Yay. So I love the work you do, because this is how powerful it can be for someone like me. And your work is so, oh my goodness, so needed there. So needed in the world.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean your years of experience. And so how do you help people like with the clearing of patterns and then bringing in new beliefs?
So I work a lot energetically, of course, because I'm doing Reiki. I do a lot of quantum work. And working with Joy has really helped me to expand in my practice of Reiki. And so I have really, and I was doing it before I met her, and now I have like more of a name for it, which is really helpful to me. So I do a lot of quantum work uh, in the field. Right. So we really I work a lot with the chakra system. So I come in and we want to build that foundation, that first and foremost. So building foundation, I always start from there. In a traditional Reiki practice, we would find like an emotion. So we would ask, where are you feeling this in your body? What are you feeling? How are you feeling it? What does it, does it have a color, a shape, a weight, etc.? And then you would sort of come in and hone in on that spot. So for me, I just hold space in that. I feel it in my own being. That's just how I'm very physical. So I feel, and I have a deep presence. And so I feel it. We start to reorganize that energy. And that is language that I have gotten from Joy. But I can feel it now that I've like started doing it, as that you start to reorganize the energy there. So I'm channeling, right? So I'm channeling the energy. I'm a very physically grounded, present channeler. We move through the chakra system and we move through the emotions that would sit in each chakra and like find the positive, the high and the low side. So like in numerology, you have like a high and a low side to each chakra, and you'd find where that person is feeling the emotions. Now I can always I kind of go in and pluck things out. I'm like really like to the point, very clear, and I don't hold back. I'm a truth teller in my healing, and I
I
call
love
people out, and they're always like, "Oh my God, I didn't know that I was feeling that." How did you know that? Because I just know stuff. Sorry. And then we move it out of the body, right? There's many different techniques to use that we can use energetically to move things out of the body, including you. Like you are your own best healer. I'm just there, I'm just talking, I'm facilitating, and you are doing all of that work within your own body. I activate something within you. And then we either, like I said, we move it down through the earth or we move it up and out. But your body always knows what it wants to do. A lot of times people want to move things up and out of their mouth or up and out of their crown, or they want to move it down through their root. And then we just start talking about what's good, what feels right. Like there's always, like I said, there's the polarity in each chakra. So what feels good and right? What feels safe and secure to you? What feels like creation? How are you creating your life versus like giving away all your power and feeling like something is happening outside of you? It's sourcing versus resourcing, right? So really bringing those frequencies in, understanding how to discern frequency is something I talk a lot about with my clients. And you just reestablish how people want to feel, and we amplify that and expand on that and amplify and expand and amplify and expand until you're all clear.
Oh my goodness. I love that. You know what? This is the first time I've heard about the high and low side of chakras.
Oh, beautiful.
Working through each chakra. I'm like, that is super cool. I'm like, wow. I'm like blown away right now because I was like, ooh, that's something I haven't done.
Oh, yes. It's beautiful. It's chakra balancing, right? It's like finding how to open and like you don't want to be too open. You want to like feel harmonized and balanced, right?
Wow. Isn't that something? Yeah, because I guess depending, like you were saying, where you feel it in your body, right, is going to depend on the chakra. And just being open to that and really tapping into your body, because that's something I really, really struggled with in the beginning. I was all in my head. It's like, so where are you feeling this? I go, what do you mean, where am I feeling it? I'm not feeling it anywhere. I don't feel anything. Like, I was just like,
Yeah.
so if you have someone like me
I have all of the clients like you. So they're all like, I'm going to get out of my head. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. So let's come back down into the body. We want to be in our body. We want to be in our physical vessel. We love our physical vessels, right? We're here. We want to be here now. This is present. This is the current moment. This is the now. This is the only moment. And so if you're not in your body and you have chaotic chi and you're just floating around out here spinning out in the universe, I want you to come into your body. I'm like, feel your toes. Wiggle your toes. Get into your body. Not even your heart. Get down into your body.
I love that because even as you're saying that, I'm like, how do you do that?
My
brain right away, it's like, huh?
I love it, Shawna.
That's so funny. I know. Even sessions with Joy, like he's like, how does that make you feel?
You're like, I don't know.
Well, it just comes from the years of kind of like the old, I don't even know, it's a buzzword too, like the old paradigm, right? The old being programmed, right? Where not to feel. And I mean, when I went through a divorce years ago and went to a marriage counselor to try and make it work, it just agitated me more because she just kept saying, so when he does this, how does that make you feel? When he does this, how does that make you feel? And I'm like, well, I kind of want to punch him.
I feel angry. How do you think I feel? Howard.
Yeah. I want to scream, shout, and lose my mind right now. That's what I want. How do I feel?
That's the best thing I think that people can start doing is to feel how they're actually feeling and then to choose differently, right? You teach Master the Brain Game as well. That is one of my most favorite tools.
Exactly. And now it's funny though, because then you go through a period of time too, where it's almost like it's like the anger, right? And you let the anger, it's like, nope, go back down. And you just keep pushing it down. And then all of a sudden, once you've had the training, you have the tools, and it's like, okay, I just need to let this come up. Like it's got to come up and out in whatever form that looks like, kind of thing, right? And
yeah. Learning about frustration, like learning that frustration was an anger emotion was like life altering for me. It was like mind blowing because I was like, I'm not angry. I'm just frustrated. Well, hi. Now I know. And so that actually really helped me. All of that helped me with my money too, because when I was frustrated with my money. I was angry with my money. I was angry at the world. And I realized that I was completely just an utterly disempowered human. And so when I started empowering myself and claiming my power and knowing that I was the only one who could do that, it's radical responsibility, right? Like then my whole money story shifted when I started taking responsibility for it and recognizing that my frustration was just keeping me stuck where I was. It's like all of it is just so freaking powerful.
Yeah. And I love that, especially because you work with people on their money stories and to clear all that and to move forward and the self-worth and, and to claim their self-worth, that you've gone through it yourself.
Oh yeah.
And that's so powerful too, because now it's like, you're going to be like, okay, here's, you have the experiences to be able to say, okay, oh yeah. And like you said, call them on their crap too. I love that because it's like, oh yeah, no, there's something more here.
Oh yeah. You can't get away with anything with me.
I love it because that's where the transformation is going to come, right? And that's totally. Where if we're just lying to ourselves and kidding ourselves and saying, oh yeah, no, it's all good. And I mean, me and Heather Ruth had a conversation about that where it's like we're saying, yeah, I'm good. I think for years I was like, I'm good. And then it's like, are you really? No, not even close.
No. Or I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm fine.
That was what I told my first therapist. I'm fine. Yeah. And she was like, oh, okay. And then I was like a pretty young woman. My mother is a therapist. I said, Mom, I'm lying to the therapist. I just keep telling her I'm fine. And she believes me. I think I needed a different therapist. She was like, okay, let's find you somebody a little stronger.
Oh my God. I love it. Somebody's gonna, a little stronger, gonna call you out on your crap and help you make a difference and make those steps forward.
Yeah. It's like, why else are you doing the work? I mean, you might as well not go.
Yeah, exactly. You're just going to stay stuck where you are. And I think with a lot of people, that's where the comfort zone comes into, right?
Oh, for sure.
Created that part. So it's kind of like, it's easier to stay stuck than to do the work to move forward, because as we're doing the work to move forward, that's when we're going deep and that's where the stuff comes up. But it's when the stuff comes up where we have the transformation, and then it's beautiful on the other side.
Absolutely. So true.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad we had this conversation today. And I love that you work with people to help them heal their money stories. Like that feels so good, because it's so needed in the world. So many people, like there is, like even myself, right? I've told, so many stories as well around money that were blocking me as an entrepreneur and working through all that. So I'm going to put here in the comments, what's the best way people can reach out and connect with you, my dear?
Well, I am very accessible. I have Messenger on Facebook. So Jen Kohler is my name. So that's really the best way to reach me. And I mean, I have, email and all of the things, but Messenger is a really good way to reach me.
Messenger? Okay.
Yeah. I also have a group called the Co-op. And it's where my healers come and do their work. And so it's a great, beautiful place just to expand your consciousness and find people to work with, or maybe you are a healer too and you want to be in there, and so it's a very open space that people talk about what they do, and I want that for people. I want people to build businesses and be wildly successful and recognize that we are no longer in a space of competition, that we are in a space of collaboration.
Exactly. Oh, I love that. Okay, so your group. So I'm just going to type your name in here your name is on the screen, but we'll type it in here again.
Thank you.
And then your group. Thank you. This is so awesome. Your group, the Co-op, is it like CO?
Yeah, it's the and then Co-op, CO-op.
Okay, just exactly like that. Okay, the Co-op. Awesome.
A little hippie Co-op.
I love it. Awesome. There we go.
Too.
So thank you so much, Jen. This has been wonderful. I just feel.
I love talking to you. Thank you.
I love talking to you. Your conversations, it's so beautiful. I love your work. Keep it up, girl. The world needs you. It's amazing. And thanks again. And if anybody has any questions, stick them in the comments. I'll go back over the comments and comment back. And thank you for those who have been here with us. This has been wonderful. And I'll just get you to hold on 1 minute, Jen, after I ended the broadcast. Yeah. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful Thursday. And thanks again, Jen.
Bye, everybody.